who was freed by North Korea after being detained for 17 months, brought back to Ohio in a coma. Let's listen in.
A minute to issue a brief statement, and then we'll go ahead and bring Fred to the podium. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kelly Martin. I serve as the Senior Director of Communications at UC Health. I'm here today specifically representing UC Health's University of Cincinnati Medical Center. During the past 48 hours, I've had the privilege to get to know Fred, Cindy, Austin, and Greta Warmbier, and they are truly incredible people. I feel like I know Otto through you. Later today, at the request of the Warmbier family, 3 UC Health physicians caring for Otto will be sharing details of his medical condition. I can tell you that today at the University of Cincinnati Medical Center, Otto is in stable condition but has suffered a severe neurological injury. Again, the physicians specifically caring for Otto will provide the medical details later this afternoon. On behalf of UC Health, we are sincerely honored to care for Otto and the entire Warmbier family. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for coming here. And I made a decision this morning to wear the coat that Otto wore when he was, I don't know, a prisoner in North Korea. This is the coat he wore when he did his confession, and I thought it was an amazing performance. I'm proud of him, and I'll start with an opening statement. I want to thank everyone who has shared their thoughts, prayers, and best wishes with the Warmbier family during the past 17 months. The burden of our ordeal is eased by the support we have experienced, not only from our friends in Cincinnati, but throughout Ohio, at the University of Virginia, throughout the United States, and indeed from around the world. I'd also like to thank Todd, Lynn, Mr. Seiler, Mr. Burke from Wyoming High School. This is a place where Otto experienced some of the best moments of his young life. And he would be pleased to know that his return to the United States would be acknowledged on these grounds. My wife Cindy is at Otto's side this morning, as she has been since the moment he returned to Ohio. She wanted me to tell you that she knows that Otto is a fighter, and she and I firmly believe that he fought to stay alive through the worst that the North Koreans could put him through in order to return to the family and community he loves. Cindy joins me in expressing our gratitude to so many people. The wonderful people at the University of Cincinnati Medical Center are providing Otto the excellent medical care he has been denied for so long. As you know, the doctors there will be holding a press conference this afternoon to discuss Otto's medical status, and I will leave the details of such matters to them. We also want to thank Senator Rob Portman, who has stood by us throughout this entire ordeal. Last evening, we received a very nice phone call from President Trump, who told us that Secretary of State Tillerson worked hard to help bring Otto home. We are extremely grateful for their efforts and concern. I would like to highlight this morning the bittersweet feeling that my family has. Relief that Otto is now home in the arms of those who love him, and anger that he was so brutally treated for so long. We went for 15 months without a word from or about Otto. It was only a week ago that we were informed that the North Korean government now claims he was in a coma for almost all of that time. Even if you believe their explanation of botulism and a sleeping pill causing the coma, and we don't, there is no excuse for any civilized nation to have kept his condition secret and denied him top-notch medical care for so long. When Otto was first taken, we were advised by the past administration to take a low profile while they worked to obtain his release. We did so without result. Earlier this year, Cindy and I decided the time for strategic patience was over, and we made a few media appearances and traveled to Washington to meet with Ambassador Joe Yoon at the State Department. It is my understanding that Ambassador Yoon and his team, at the direction of the President, aggressively pursued resolution of the situation. They have our thanks for bringing Otto home. I know you have many questions about what transpired. So do we. We have few answers. There's no excuse for the way the North Koreans treated our son, and no excuse for the way they have treated so many others. I call on them to release the other Americans being held. No other family should have to endure what the Warmbiers have. Thank you. Now I'd be happy to answer questions.
Before you begin asking questions, please state your name and the news organization you're from, please. Yes, sir.
Josh Branson from the Times of London. I wonder if you could just tell us a little bit about what kind of a guy Otto was, what kind of a son he was, and just some of your warmest.
That's a loaded softball question. He obviously, Otto's an amazing kid. What he endured, to the brutality and the terror that he went through, and he made it back to the United States, and the performance he did. But that doesn't really speak to who Otto really is. Otto is a sweet, loving, kind person, and that's what we loved about him, and that's what his teachers loved about him. Obviously, Otto was brilliant, but that's not what Otto was. Otto is a sweet, loving, kind person who he was never in a fight. So thank you for the question.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Stepper from the New York Times. I know you said that you wanted to leave it to the doctor to discuss Otto's condition, but I'm wondering if you could just share a little bit from your perspective about how he's doing right now.
We're trying to get, Cheryl, the question is what we're doing about Otto's condition? How is Otto? Well, we're trying to make him comfortable.
Yes, ma'am.
Alison Barber with Fox News. Can you just tell us a little bit, what did you say, what did you do when you were able to see your son for the first time Tuesday night? Did you say anything to him?
Of course. What did I say to my son? I knelt down by his side and I hugged him. And I told him I missed him and I was so glad that he made it home. I don't know. You don't feel that. These things are tough to process, but he's with us, and we're trying to make him comfortable, and we want to be a part of his life. Part of his life.
Yes, ma'am.
Megan Mondello, local 12, Cincinnati. You thanked President Trump, and then you also said that the past administration didn't do enough. So do you feel like that President Obama should have been doing more to help?
The question is, do I think the past administration could have done more? I think the results speak for themselves.
Yes, sir.
Miguel Marquez with CNN. You say that you doubt the botulism in the sleeping pill. You say that he was brutalized. Do you think it was physical injury that left him in this state?
We're going to leave that to the doctors today.
Can you give us a sense, obviously the relations between North Korea and the U.S. have been bad for some time, and they are worsening. Can you give us a sense, a guy from a lovely town in Ohio, what it's like to have your family in the center of this right now?
That's a good question. I'm proud of Otto and the courage he showed by going to North Korea and having that adventurous side to him. And so the fact that he was taken and treated this way is horrible, and it's tough to process, but we're tremendously proud of him. And so that we're looking to the future.
Sorry, Martin Gill from the Daily Mail. There's one thing that doesn't quite, to my mind, we learned that the Swedish diplomats visited, I believe, March 2nd, yet you say you weren't told of the commission until last week. What happened between those 3 months? Why did the Swedes not pass on this commission to us?
Well, it's our understanding they didn't know.
They didn't actually physically see it?
Nobody has seen or heard from Otto since March of 2016. Nobody.
Fred Curtis Fuller from WLWT. What what were you doing in terms of efforts to try to make some contact with your son during that period of time, if any? I know that
Sure. What did our efforts consist of to help bring our son home? Yes. Good question. We've been to Washington, D.C. over a dozen times. We met everyone in the past administration, from John Kerry to the Swedish ambassador Sternloff, who lives in Pyongyang. He came in town. We met his aide when he came in town. We've met our senators, our congressmen. We've worked with Governor Richardson. So we were. Those were our efforts, and we relied on this false premise that they would treat Otto fairly and let him go. And Otto was held as a war criminal. They termed his confinement as a war criminal, and so that seemed to get Cindy and I's attention, and so we knew the dynamic was changing, and honestly, nothing was happening in our world for Otto. No communication, no letters, nothing. So we did what we could. We tried to stay low. We were advised that it was important that you don't upset the North Koreans. And so we followed that logic, and then there came a time where we're tired. That doesn't seem to have any impact. So we went public with an interview on the Tucker Carlson show, and then did a couple written pieces, and then very quickly we have Otto home.
ever a face-to-face with President Obama?
Oh, never, absolutely not. No.
Yes, ma'am. Hi, Christine Porter with Fox News. Is it still believed that Otto fell into a coma a day after the trial? Can you talk a little bit about the timeline?
Well, personally, North Korea is a pariah regime. They're brutal and they're terroristic. You can't believe anything. Well, it's your choice. We don't believe anything they say. We see the results of their actions with Otto. So it's all speculation.
Yes, sir. Kate Fairbaugh from Voice of America. If you could speak directly to the North Korean regime or the North Korean people, what would you say to them?
I would say I'm so proud of what I would say to the North Korean regime. I would say I'm so proud of Otto, my son, who has been in a pariah regime for the last 18 months, brutalized and terrorized, and he's now home with his family. And I'm just tremendously proud of Otto. His spirit is with us, and I can share my spirit with his spirit, and I'm just so happy for that.
Yes, ma'am.
Previous prisoners in Korea, American prisoners, have been tortured psychologically, not many of them have been even visited. It seems like something different happened with Otto. Did something different happen, or just what happened?
Sure. Was Otto treated differently? The quick answer is the results speak for themselves. And you'll hear more about it at the medical conference today.
Yes, sir. In the back.
Hey, Dan Coleman with NBC4 in Columbus. Going back to the beginning of the situation, can you speak as to when you found out I was going to North Korea or had ended up there, and your reaction to either going or being there?
Sure. The North Koreans, when did we find out Otto was going to North Korea? The North Koreans lure Americans to travel to North Korea via tour groups run out of China who advertise slick ads on the internet proclaiming no American ever gets detained off of our tours, and this is a safe place to go. So Otto's a young, thrill-seeking, great kid who was going to be in that part of the world for a college experience and said, hey, I've heard some friends who have done this, I would like to do this. So we agreed to let him do that. They lure Americans, and then they take them hostage, and then they do things to them. And that's what happened to my son. He was taken hostage at the airport as he was trying to leave the country. And then he was put through the trial, which we've all seen. She performed amazingly well. And here we are today.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Daniel, I'm from here. You may not want to comment on this, but you
see as a tough approach to North Korea?
Oh, I don't see a tough approach to North Korea. They're still able to take Americans hostage and abuse them. They're still able to be terrorists in the world. I don't know that North Korea is... Listen, North Korea terrorized... It started with the prisoners of war, of the North Korean War. It extended to the USS Pueblo, and now it extended to my son, Otto.
So you'd like to see a tougher approach?
It's not... I'm not in government, and I don't... It's not my call.
Yes, sir.
You're welcome.
What do you think Otto may have been singled out for peacefulness, and then also North Korea said they humanitarian reasons?
North Korea has proven they are not nature's noble men. Again, do you believe my son needed a used car? Do you believe he's not even a member of the church that he was accused of stealing a banner from? So again, I don't really, we are not burdened with whatever North Korea says or does any longer. The Warmbier family is not. And I'm so happy for Cindy, myself, my community. This community's been amazing. They've been supportive. We've been forced to be quiet and act different because we didn't want to offend them. And so I don't know if that answers your question, but that's my feeling.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any comment on how you feel about Dennis Rodman's current church in Korea? And can you just clarify, did he have anything at all?
Did Dennis Rodman? No, he didn't. Dennis Rodman had nothing to do with Otto. It's a diversion. You know, they just released Otto. It's a diversion, I'm sure. This is all planned.
Yes, ma'am.
Dennis Rodman's? I could care less.
Yes, ma'am.
Megan Mondello, Local 12 Cincinnati. You mentioned that he was over there because a company in China lured him there. What would you say to other parents, and what was the name of the company, and how could
Sure. Yeah. Well, again, Young Pioneers Tours. They advertise it's the safest trip ever, and it's the one your mother wouldn't want you to go on. But what they do is they provide fodder for the North Koreans, and my son happened to become fodder for the North Koreans. And so that's what happened. They took him hostage at the airport, and then the outcome is self-evident, as it will become.
Yes, ma'am. Over here.
Honestly, with CBS National News, I'm just wondering that as a father, in Cincinnati, and now that everything's kind of over, how did it feel to have your son involved in this bigger political voice?
How did it feel? Otto's always been an amazing guy, and he's always made me look good. He made me and my wife look good. He was the salutatorian of the school here. He did an amazing speech. It doesn't surprise me, honestly. It saddens me. It saddens me.
Yes, sir. Front.
Yeah, Dave Kang, Associated Press.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to ask you, you say North Korea is a pariah state and we can't trust what they say, but they said that they claim that they released Otto on humanitarian grounds. What do you think is the real reason they chose to release Otto?
Sure. What's the real reason they released Otto? Well, I think the State Department was negotiating pretty tough with them, and so I don't know that we're ever going to find the answer. They did not do this out of the kindness of their hearts. North Korea doesn't do anything out of the kindness of their hearts, but we'll not. I don't think we'll find out.
You don't think we'll find out?
I really don't.
Yes, sir.
Can you talk a little bit more about your conversation with the president last night?
Sure. President Trump called me at, say, 10 o'clock last night and just wanted to find out how Cindy and I were doing and wanted to know about Otto. It was a really nice conversation. It was kind, and it was, are you taking care of yourself? And we worked hard, and and I'm sorry this is the outcome. And he told me a little bit about Secretary Tillerson and Joe Yoon, and they teamed up and they made things happen, and he was very candid, and it was a nice conversation. And to be honest with you, I had avoided conversations with him, and then Because to what end? I'm dealing with my son. This is about Otto. But I did take the call, and it was gracious, and it was nice, and it felt good. And I thank him for that.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you plan after this to be involved politically in this kind of arena, or do you want to just be far away from the politics as possible?
No, I don't. We did not choose this. We don't like this. We do this because we have to. And we, do we want to be in this arena? No. It's not. Cindy and I, this is not what we wanted. We did this because we had to.
We have time for 2 more questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Last one for me. I just wanted to hear a little bit more about how you guys learned about this and what was the right experience of shocking. You told the extent of his condition at the time that you found out that he had been in a coma. And how is your family coping now? How is it right to carry the children and the
Sure. That's a great question, and I think we felt, what did we feel like when we got the call last Tuesday that Otto was in a coma in North Korea? Disbelief, couldn't sit down. I don't know what being in shock is, but I'm pretty sure I was. I was out of town, and I ended with my son, Austin, and then we drove home immediately, got in at 1 o'clock, and told Cindy. And you know, we've been brutalized for the last 18 months with misinformation, no information, and so we are proud of the fact that our family are basically happy, positive people, and we're going to stay that way. And we're thrilled that our son is on American soil. We're in the school that he thrived in, and I'm able to talk to you on Otto's behalf, and I'm able to wear the jacket that he wore when he gave his confession. I'm not confessing, I'm speaking, but Otto, I love you, and I'm so crazy about you, and I'm so glad you're home. You are such a great guy. And by the way, my family has been rock solid throughout this. We have supported the heck out of one another, and it's just been it's been a wonderful experience to feel that. And now we get to feel the love of the community and not have this crazy, oh, what are they thinking? Are we afraid of what North Korea will say? Don't put ribbons on the trees. All that's gone. So we don't care now.
All right, this is the last question. Gentleman in the back.
Fred, John Dell with News Center 7 and 8. The twofold question. Have you heard all your family from Jeff Fowle, the man from Little North Korea, who was detained by North Korea, that the regime likely left the Bible back? And do you guys see any similarities between Otto's situation and Jeffrey's?
We see absolutely no similarities. And have we communicated with Jeff Fowle and the others? No. Otto is a young university student who is on a tour with other university students. He's never been in trouble in his life. He wasn't trying to do anything in the country. There just weren't similarities. Otto was considered a war criminal. We weren't looking for confirmation that, oh, this is the way things are. It's our son, it's unique, and we knew it was unique, and it is unique. So, no, and they've reached out to us, and I think they only wanted to help, but that's not what we're looking for. All right, thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Again, on behalf of...
You've been listening to Fred Warmbier, the father of Otto Warmbier, who was just released after more than a year of captivity in North Korea. Fred, the father, very grateful, but also a little bit angry, frankly. Grateful that his son is home, angry at the North Koreans for holding him for so long, lying, he says, about what happened to him. The North Koreans say that he had botulism and took a sleeping pill, which put him in a coma. Says the North Koreans lied, and also, I think, frankly, Fred Warmbier frustrated that there was not as much action by the United States over the time that he was in captivity. Said he's very grateful to the Trump administration for helping to get him home right now, and grateful for a conversation that he had with the president after his release. Fred Warmbier, speaking just moments ago, would not give a medical update on his son. That's coming later today. We believe that Otto Warmbier still in a coma after more than a year in North Korea.
And said that he fell to his knees and hugged his son when he came home. Meantime,